if you message me, I'll call you back because we are live on air right now. Good afternoon, everybody.
So many
Thanks
calls.
so much for joining in. And
FIs are calling and asking.
FIs are calling.
खरीदे सर खरीद ले
क्या बेचूं भी?
मोदी जी ने ट्रम्प को ना बोल दिया क्या बेचे Oh my God. But thank you for joining in firstly. To everybody now and over the next 20 minutes, 25 minutes, please like, subscribe. We really appreciate that. And by the way, on that, I just want to put this into perspective, right? There's a lot of headlines around.
The call or?
A lot of headlines around PM Modi declining Donald Trump's invitation. I think, let me put this into perspective the way I have understood it, and the two of you can chip in if you think otherwise. That PM Modi was at the G7 summit in Canada. Donald Trump invited him to America for a meet. Now, the background is that Pakistan's Army General Asim Munir is in US, and the presumption is that could there have been a linkage between the two meetings as well, but two also that it is a last minute thing, and PM Modi's had a pre-scheduled set of meets which he couldn't delay. So there was a call, and on the call, both leaders, the PM Modi declined the invitation or accepted his inability to accept that invitation, and both leaders spoke and said that they will meet soon at a future date. So I think that's the whole context. Don't just read the headline. Just keep that in mind. Or read the headline, but also click and go under.
Go on.
Anything else, guys, that you want to add to this?
Nothing.
This is a big story since the morning.
We were talking about Trump.
Yeah, man.
Trump heading back. Then he's talking about the Iranian supreme leader.
We can take you out,
Yeah.
but we're not doing that. This is headline worthy stuff.
Yeah, but this some social media chatter about how he's also jet lagged or health issues. He signs a deal with UK and calls it European Union. All those things.
Yeah, so I mean,
but what important is that he's back and his tweets are creating more panic in the market.
You can't think of a day without thinking of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
but we knew that, right?
Yeah. No,
the day he got elected.
But this is a lot.
No, we didn't think that ये इतना करेगा ना.
हाँ, ये काफी है. वैसे मार्केट क्या कर रहा है आज?
Market तो
quarter
down.
I think dramatic.
Dramatic.
So we need to hold 24,600.
I would say we need to hold 24,800 by the end of the day.
Well, I think the technique. So I read a few. In order to prepare for Monday's trade setup, I read a few of the pieces that came in over the weekend, right? So most people opine that if you hold, including Dr. Sikanaran, by the way, he writes on every Friday evening on our website, or Saturday morning it gets published. It's a really good article to prepare you for the rest of the week on the technical parameters. So he wrote, we hold 24,600 or thereabout, or those levels, I think he wrote. And if that were to break, then the 24,100 to 400 zone comes into being. Yeah. But 24,600 seem to be that near-term trader ke liye line in the sand. So as long as we are holding that. I'm borrowing this, I'm standing on his shoulders.
No, I'm just looking from
I have no technical chart expertise.
I'm looking from a options trade point of view where 24,800 was having a good support coming in. And by the way, tomorrow is a weekly expiry also. So
Kiski?
And Nifty की निफ्टी की एक्सपायरी है अगले 3 महीने तक उसके बाद सेंसेक्स की एक्सपायरी होगी but I don't think it's going to be bad for BSE.
I differ, but okay. Man, you are the expert in this.
Because I'll tell you why. We all thought that there would be a big hit to the stock exchanges when SEBI brought in all those curves, right? In terms of strike price going up, margins and everything which came in. But it didn't have that impact. BSE's premium turnover rose after that. And if you look at the chart, and it's a beautiful chart which Goldman Sachs has put in of weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they've taken correlation of a period. It basically says that of the 5 days, Friday, Monday and Tuesday is where BSE's market share spikes. So Friday and Monday it spikes to about 20-22%, and on Tuesday it is around 45%. NSE's market share is 90% plus only on Wednesday and Thursday. And that is what is prompting the largest stock exchange to say that no, I want to rejig my expiry to a Tuesday. But I'm trying to play a contrarian here, because when I'm speaking to people in the market and they are very clearly saying that, gone are the days when, NSE है तो NSE में trade करेंगे. It is more about transaction cost and कहाँ पर sunrise transaction cost कम होगा वहाँ पर मैं trade करूँगा, because directional wise, whether it's a Nifty or a sensex, both go in the same direction.
But no, this must be a very small minority, Sajeet.
Could be, but
No, could be nahi. I'll just prove it. Look at the volumes on both the exchanges.
No.
That's an answer.
So if that is the question, so for NSE is why is NSE insisting of going back from Thursday to Tuesday?
I think वो answer तो बहुत simple है, Sajeet.
Yeah.
You ask any trader on Friday, wherein you have to take the position in a expiry, considering that weekend का issue आ सकता है and all of that, he will choose the closest expiry. He or she, sorry. And therefore that person will say कि boss अगर मैं Friday को position बना रहा हूँ, I don't want the Thursday expiry.
Correct.
I want the closer dated expiry.
Correct.
मैं Tuesday को ले रहा हूँ.
I get, but that's not the reason why volumes are going up, na?
Sorry?
That's not the reason why volumes are going up.
Overall volumes are anyways going up.
no.
But my limited point being the reason.
The base is also low, sir.
You asked me why is it that NSE is choosing Tuesday. I think the answer there is
No,
simple.
no.
That Friday
So-
का position or start of the week का position, जहाँ पे volumes बड़ा हो सकता है, they would want the closest dated expiry. They are taking Tuesday.
So what NSE has said, and I'm going by what NSE has said, we spoke to Sri Rama as well. He's the chief business officer there. He's saying that the decay of premium happens towards the end of the contract, and we wanted something which will reduce the cost, transaction cost. So when Thursday was a thing, it used to have a higher transaction cost, and so the volumes were lower. So and that's one of the reasons why
Yeah, देखो,
it is.
my limited
See,
point
it
is
works
उनका
both
version हो
ways.
सकता है.
It
But when I
works-
talk to, sorry, all I'm saying is, when this happened yesterday, right? And I spoke to 5 traders who actively trade derivatives. And my call to them was just that, does this make a material difference? And they were like, big difference when it comes to Friday, that we will actually choose the Tuesday expiry. And especially if you are trading index contracts which are liquid enough. So the BSE में stock contracts may not have been active enough, but index contracts were fairly active, right? Now that the mini Nifty or blah blah etc., all of which are liquid contracts are all, or whatever might be available, or a single Nifty expiry is available. And if you can hedge or use the hedge, you will choose the closer dated contract.
Could be. I'm not saying that tomorrow, tomorrow BSE will have 50% market share. That's not going to happen, because NSE, being the largest exchange, will always have 70% of 70 plus percentage of market share going forward. What I'm trying to say is that the diversification of the investor base which has happened in the last 1.5 years, because remember BSE used to have a Friday expiry as well, right? And they moved it to Tuesday. Now there's a swap which has happened. So I'm trying to say that yes, there might be an impact with respect to some volume moving away to a third Tuesday expiry, but will it lead to a large impact on BSE's thing? My doubt is, I'm little doubtful on that part of it, because yes, 2 to 3% impact maybe.
Okay, what is BSE's valuation currently?
I'll just
एक बार खाली check कर लेते हैं.
check कर लेते हैं.
It's at 1 lakh crore,
but
and the P
so
multiple is
simple
82 times.
82 times. NSE multiple is about 70-80 times.
Same time,
Same
almost
है?
same. हाँ.
अगर ये incrementally largest exchange के लिए positive है, and in now if NSE is as liquid as BSE in the private markets, presumably, right? अगर आपको access चाहिए,
It's not.
आपको मिल जाता है. आपको अभी आपको चाहिए तो आप किसी को phone
आपको मिल जाएगा, पर it's not as liquid.
मतलब
Of
मोटा
course,
यार Sajeet.
of
I'm
course
saying
it's not
it will
as
never
liquid.
be as liquid as
Yeah.
the main thing है,
Yeah.
but मोटा मोटी liquid है.
Yes, हाँ.
आप क्यों BSE में पैसा डालो? आप NSE में पैसा डाल सकते हो ना? People will think about it that way, that they've got this. The one advantage that NSE currently has is they've gotten Tuesday. See, BSE the last 12 to 18 months, remarkable journey, right? And now their systems, their products, etc. are fabulous. All right, but it's not trading as cheap as it used to before, about 12 to 18 months before.
No, so I'm not here talking about the valuation part of it.
No.
I'm talking from a fundamental
But
revenue
sir,
part
वो
of
तो
it.
at the end of it, it'll all trickle down to stock price performance,
So,
right?
exactly.
Everything else is
So
secondary
that's-
for all the viewers.
नहीं वो जो
क्या
है,
फर्क पड़ता है?
पर अगर आपका फंडामेंटली इम्पैक्ट होता है तो आपका स्टॉक प्राइस भी इम्पैक्ट होता है.
हाँ,
Simple as that,
तो
right?
मेरे
So
मेरे हिसाब से they will give up, sir. मेरे हिसाब से they will give up, and probably we can see over the next, maybe we will know only by November. They'll give up significant market share.
I don't. I doubt.
Significant
About it. I doubt about it. We spoke about it at the time of October, November when SEBI came in hard and hit weekly options.
But that was true for both, no? Sajeet?
No. We said BSE will be the most impacted. हमारी कमेंट्री में तो यही था सबसे ज्यादा. पर
मुझे नहीं याद है ये honestly.
Simple
मुझे
as that.
यहाँ पे लगता है कि NSE has an advantage right now.
If I see
And I think they will-
see the data patterns which are coming in, now you say कि pinpoint करके बताओ कितना हो रहा है, नहीं.
नहीं,
Data
हाँ.
pattern and the kind of trading trends which are coming in for both the exchanges, I see that the impact on BSE is not going to be as significant. Of course, it's going to be positive for NSE because it's going to arrest the market share fall which was happening. It is there. Can BSE go beyond 20-25%? I don't know. But can BSE retain the current market share? The answer is yes.
Okay, I debate that one. Part two, my other small point out here is that both exchanges, viewers, if you are buying into them, both exchanges
Are richly
be
valued.
careful, they are richly valued. I mean, and the other way to look at it is very quickly, is that if NSE were to nudge 3,000, 3,500, let's assume 3,000, but 3,500 at some point of time in the run up to the IPO, that's what roughly 8 lakh or 10 lakh crores of market cap, right? At that market cap, you got to ask yourself, can NSE at 8 to 10 lakh crores market cap really zoom up
$100 billion.
to a 20? Can it become 200 billion? $200 billion in 5 years' time, right? Because you are an investor, you're not married to a stock. Would you want to contemplate? So all I'm saying is, or unless you say, okay, you are parked in this for 15 years, and then there is no debate that Indian exchanges will create a lot of wealth. But if you're a tactical allocator, be careful about which price you're buying in. They are great businesses to hold. Duopoly hai, kuch nahi hona hai. But just be careful with the valuations that you're paying for them.
All the notes I've read since today morning, all of them have underplayed, like Sajeet sir has, the impact of this. And maybe he's right also. Maybe they're all right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking about it incorrectly. Because when I was looking at the data last night, I don't know if you had a chance to look at the data which I sent last night. It seemed like the bulk of the market share was coming because it was Friday, Monday, Tuesday.
3-day trading. That's
Right?
what we were talking about, right?
Right, and
3-day and 2-day
we
trading
explained that. We explained that a bulk of the market share was coming because of that, and maybe that is at risk. That is the sense.
It is at risk.
Yeah.
There's
So
no maybe here.
yeah, but a lot there are views. There is a view on the other side which says there isn't.
But how can there be a view on that? वो तो रिस्क पे है ही ना. NSE को ट्यूसडे एक्सपायरी मिला है. जो था वो तो अभी NSE के पास है. Anybody will on a Friday morning, if you're taking a position, you will take the near dated expiry which is expiry on Tuesday.
Absolutely. It's firstly it's
वो तो
cheaper
given
also,
है.
and then it's lower risk also. So it's
वो तो given
both
है.
ways it works.
So,
for you.
so how it works in real world is that there is, citrus paribus, yes, what you say is fine. But there are changes that happen which exchanges make, and we see that, okay, it changes the entire paradigm. We saw the same thing happening in October, November, and we said, oh, it's going to be doomsday for entire capital markets. Brokerage को problem होगा, इसको problem होगा, उसको problem होगा, exchanges की volumes गिर जाएंगे.
सर हुआ ही है ना, volumes पे तो impact आया. सर आया तो है सर.
उतना
impact आया तो है.
सजीत उतना नहीं आया होगा लेकिन इम्पैक्ट
आया तो है सर.
मच
आया तो है.
एक काम करते हैं, ये डिबेट सिंपल सॉल्व करना है, सिंपल all of you are listening to this, some of you are practitioners, please in the comment section write that what would you do on a Friday morning if you take the position. Would you take it on NSE or would you then take a Thursday expiry on BSE? Let's जनता का आवाज
Poll.
Yes.
हाँ,
Poll.
चलो,
Audience
let's
poll.
move on.
Done.
A lot of trending stocks today.
Yes,
talk about
we
them.
have to. There is.
But sorry, want to complete that point. All the brokerages that I read today morning don't have particularly strong target prices.
Yes.
The upside is very
Very limited.
capped even according to them. So regardless of which side of the fence you sit on this argument, I think the one clear aspect to this is that the upsides are capped.
I mean, they are expensive right
They are
now.
expensive.
NSE may well go to 3,000 in the run up to the IPO.
We all have that consensus that
Yes,
both
absolutely.
of them are.
And at the end of the
But
day,
I
the
worry
price
about
is
that.
important.
But I worry about that because that means
That
जब IPO का
आएगा
अगर
तो
3,000 होएगा लोग गाली देंगे कि ये लोग ने बोला कि you know expensive है.
दे देना यार.
He'll run out.
और ये भी हो सकता है कि आईपीओ के बाद वो नीचे गिरे तब क्या करोगे?
हाँ, but just so all we are saying is be mindful of the
और
quantum of
NSE का स्टॉक
allocation.
बीएसई में लिस्ट होगा और NSE में है.
आपके पास नहीं, मैं बोल रहा हूँ लास्ट पॉइंट तो इन दिस, अगर आपके पास पोर्टफोलियो में 2-3-4% एलोकेशन है तो इतना मत सोचो. बट इफ इट्स NSE इज अ लार्ज पोर्शन ऑफ योर पोर्टफोलियो बिकॉज इट्स रैलीड सो मच इन द लास्ट 6 months, देन बी अ बिट केयरफुल. दैट्स इट.
No, imagine 8 lakh crore company will be listing only on the BSE. Because that's what the regulation says.
Rightfully so. Trending stocks.
Maybe it becomes sensex 30 as well.
No,
That
even if it becomes a sensex 30,
It will 100%
I'm talking from a point of
नहीं,
view.
नहीं,
I'm talking from a point of view.
LIC नहीं हुआ, but
नहीं, I'm talking from a point of view of what do you call the trading volumes that will come in and then benefit the exchange. अच्छा,
सबका साथ सबका विकास.
Hindustan Zinc.
नहीं यार, so ये
This is the second time a promoter is selling, right? Means
Yeah,
we saw it a year or two back,
but-
2 years back actually.
but the quantum
Normal
was
है.
much lower than anticipated. कल मार्केट में जो रूमर थी,
7,500 का चल रहा था, 3,000 समथिंग हुआ है.
so one that, two silver prices are doing okay, but the street will
But I
only
think
worry
there
if this is an overhang कि अभी इतना बेचा है, टेस्ट किया, अगर सक्सेसफुल हो गया तो और बेचेंगे तो क्या ये ओवरहैंग हो गया. मुझे लगता है वो डर है.
If you remember 2 years back when they sold and
Don't remember, but okay. हाँ.
GQG किसी ने खरीदा था
हिंदुस्तान सिंह में
2 साल पहले.
You must be right. I don't remember
means
this.
वेदांता ने
I'll
बेचा था.
pull it out. I don't have-
वेदांता ने बेचा था.
I don't have the
वेदांता ने
data.
बेचा.
वेदांता ही बेचा है.
नहीं, वेदांता ने वेदांता रिसोर्सेज ने वेदांता में बेचा था 2 साल पहले 2023 में. Where they raised some 10,000 odd crores.
हाँ तभी रेस किया था,
किया
पर
था.
I wasn't
I don't
tracking
know.
it, so I
But
don't know.
here the promoter is selling part of the stake and then the companies are announcing a 12,000 crore capex cycle, which almost doubling the output.
Likely to pay off debt, right? I mean, it's this is
Vedanta
Vedanta.
Limited.
हाँ, so exactly. So Vedanta is the one selling, right? So they'll use the funds to pay off debt. I mean, likely, or they'll dividend it up, which is even more beneficial for shareholder.
No, but my point is that
They'll use it
12,000
to
crores
pay
of and you spoke to him in the morning, right?
Hiral did,
Hiral spoke to him in the morning and 12,000 crores is what they're doing a capex over the next 2 to 3 years.
Correct.
And a large part of the cash flows will now be used for that. So that will reduce the dividend payout from HZL.
Yeah.
The silver outlook is very strong in terms of growth, and they are expecting to maintain zinc to silver ratio, which means that zinc growth will also be very strong. Indirectly, I'm just deriving from the conversation whatever.
Safe derivation, yeah.
So, so looks strong that way. It doesn't look bad. The capex.
His favorite bank is in
क्या हो गया यार?
Hindustan सिटी कवर कर रहा है अभी. नोमरा भी हो गया.
फेवरेट कहाँ से हो गया यार ये? That's
But
incorrect.
Nomura के upgrade पे इतना भागा. I was surprised. I didn't anticipate this move today.
एक
in
CEO
NSE.
के
I
जाने
did
वाला upgrade आ गया.
905.
मतलब
905 was
No, but did you
in the sen-
anticipate 5-6% move?
5-6% maybe not, but 3% I was expecting, and which is why I took it for 905. You allow me to pick that, and therefore
I don't allow you anything. You choose it on your own accord. But yeah, Hersh does a lovely segment at roughly 9:05 every day on TV. You might want to
So,
tune in for that. He highlights one key brokerage call every morning.
yeah,
But
it works, it doesn't work, but today it did. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we are just highlighting
There's
stuff.
no senior management, but the stock got an upgrade.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
it's
a large brokerage. But it's a large brokerage giving a large upgrade. So clearly, I mean, I would expect it to move. 700 रुपए से 1050 रुपए कर दिया यार. मतलब 50% increase in target price. That's not a joke.
Yeah, मैंने ऑफ लेट देखा है ये इंडसइंड बैंक नेगेटिव न्यूज़ पे रिएक्ट नहीं करता है, पॉजिटिव पे रिएक्ट कर लेता है.
सर नेगेटिव पे भी आजकल ऊपर जाता है.
So something about the counter tells you, right, that the bad days may be behind. Who knows?
And we've at least I have
bad days are
I have
factored in
been
and good
I have
days are-
been calling it out on this forum since that time. So fortunate, touch wood, it never always
हम
works.
तो
But
स्क्रैचिंग अहेड कि ये क्या हो रहा है इसमें इस स्टॉक में.
but yes, so it's work.
Okay, then you have Vishal Mega Mart.
यार ये
Mutual funds bought huge amount.
वो हो गया, ब्लॉक डी लेना इजी हो गया. ये इसमें किसमें इंक्लूजन हो रहा है?
फुट्सी में
फुट्सी में हो रहा है? Yeah.
फुट्सी आने वाला है ना अभी.
No, wait a minute. No, I have it.
MSCI.
No, I have it with me. Wait. I'll tell you.
नहीं,
guys.
अभी जो आने वाला है जून 20th को फुट्सी है ना.
I thought MSCI.
MSCI तो अगस्त में है अब अगला.
It might be included in the FTSE Global Mid Cap Index. $115 million of flows expected. Okay, guys, I have to go for this thing.
Yeah, even we have to go early today at 12:30. So we'll pick up questions fast.
Yeah, I just have to leave for
Nuvama Wealth.
Yeah, all capital market businesses, I am very constructive. मुझे लग रहा है
पर एक event is there in the means there are talks about the existing promoter or large shareholder exiting and a new one coming in, right? Nuvama में.
हाँ. Yes.
And that's a big factor which is there, right?
Yeah, but so you could also think of it this way, that there was a change in promoter earlier as well, right? But it hasn't impacted. I think the set of professionals running the show are fairly competent, and almost every well-managed wealth business over a 10-year period, I reckon, will do very well. Wealth, capital markets essentially.
यार हमने इसके याद आया कि बिगेस्ट इवेंट तो आज होने वाला है.
Sorry, हमारे गेस्ट लॉगिन हो जाए, मुझे जाना पड़ेगा. कौन सा इवेंट?
Fed.
Fed आज शाम को है. Guys, you guys should talk about it. My firm view is no tinkering on the rates, but will we see some murmurings about will be some murmuring about end the quantitative tightening, because it is a completely non-political thing to do.
Yeah.
See, I think Jerome Powell doesn't want to go down in history as a guy who bowed down to Donald Trump, but doing this might be non-political and it might be desirable as well in the current circumstances. Sorry, yeah. So maybe expect a bit of quantitative tightening ka murmurs to go away, but no change in rate for sure. He will never do it because it will seem that he's bowing down to Donald Trump's whims and fancies, which I don't think will happen. अगर करना ज़रूरी होगा फिर भी शायद नहीं होगा. Oops, ये क्या हो रहा है?
ये आपको जाने नहीं दे रहे.
जाना पड़ेगा. See you guys. Sorry, I have an interview to do.
See you, sir.
There is there's one on यूग्रो का शॉर्ट में हिंदी में अपना विशेष टिप्पणी प्लीज कीजिए. भूमिल वक्कर यूग्रो का
बताइए. आपने भी बात किया है उसके साथ.
आज एक तो एक्विजिशन किया जिसपे हमारे हर्ष बताएंगे इसके बारे में, बट आई थिंक उनका फंड रेज जो है 1350 करोड़ का फंड रेज है, जिसमें आई थिंक 400 करोड़ का राइस इशू है एट 165 रुपीज़, एंड there is a CCD which they are issuing to some of the existing warrant holders. The controversy is that they are giving cash back to those warrant holders because that price of earlier one 264 is much higher than the current market price, and the 25% which they have given to the company will be forfeited, because in most cases they will not be converting the warrants into shares. So question ये है कि आप 12.5% का अपफ्रंट कूपन भी दे रहे हैं, और उसके बाद आप ये बोल रहे हैं कि अगर आप वारंट कन्वर्ट नहीं करेंगे तो हम आपको 12.5% और देंगे. सो दैट्स अ वेरी कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल थिंग, बिकॉज warrant is like an equity and it has a risk associated with it. मीन्स अगर आज एक कंपनी बोलती है कि अच्छा वारंट होल्डर्स को कन्वर्ट नहीं हो पा रहा है, कोई फ़र्क फ़ायदा नहीं है, हम अगले बार CCC देंगे, उनको पैसा वापस कर देंगे. सो दैट्स समथिंग न्यू एंड रॉन्ग प्रेसिडेंट टू बी इन. नाउ कंपनी कैन जस्टिफाई कि हमको तो कैपिटल चाहिए, नहीं तो अगर कैपिटल नहीं होगा तो ग्रो नहीं होगा, बट इट्स अ गवर्नेंस क्वेश्चन विच आई थिंक वन ऑफ द agencies advisory company has raised that, and it's a valid thing, because if tomorrow every company which does a warrant and the price goes down after the warrant, see the point is that before the fundraise happen we generally see company prices going up because the dilution has उतना कम हो जाता है. अब उसके बाद स्टॉक करेक्ट हो जाता है, और अगर स्टॉक डाउन साइकिल में चला गया तो वारंट कन्वर्ट ही नहीं होगा, तो फिर कलर कन्वर्ट नहीं होगा तो वो जो 25% आपने दिया वो तो फॉरफिट हो ही गया, कंपनी का वो पैसा मिल ही जाता है. अब इन अ ग्रोथ कंपनी यू नीड कैपिटल अगेन एंड अगेन, एंड व्हेन यू गो बैक टू द सेम पीपल अगेन, जैसे कि मेरा तो पैसा लगा था चला गया, आप मुझे वो वापस दो तभी मैं वापस दूँगा.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate that this is what has happened. I think the investors are equally to blame. Context के लिए बेसिकली उन लोग के डेट अग्रीमेंट्स में, और ये उन्होंने हमें आज बताया, अब लास्ट टाइम नहीं बताया था, कि उन लोग के डेट अग्रीमेंट्स में सर्टन ट्रिगर्स या कवेनेंट्स थे कि इफ़ आपका कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी या इक्विटी कैपिटल बिलो सर्टन थ्रेशोल्ड चला जाता है
18% यहाँ पर
तो उन्होंने बताया नहीं एग्जैक्ट नंबर, बट पॉइंट बीइंग कि कोई भी थ्रेशोल्ड के नीचे चला जाता है तो डेट कवेनेंट ट्रिगर होता है
और रीपे करना पड़ता है।
हाँ, तो उसमें एक कंसर्न है बेसिकली उनको, तो उनके लिए ये इक्विटी रेज करना जरूरी था। अब क्वेश्चन यही होता है कि एग्जिस्टिंग इन्वेस्टर्स को एडिशनल इक्विटी दे और पास्ट वाला इक्विटी कैंसिल कर दे, या न्यू इन्वेस्टर्स के पास जाए फॉरफीट करके। टेक्निकली स्पीकिंग अर्लियर इन्वेस्टर्स का जो भी, या तो आप उनको ऑप्शन दो कि भाई आप बैलेंस अमाउंट हमें दे दो, हम आपको वारंट्स इशू करके शेयर्स में कन्वर्ट कर देंगे, या तो फिर अगर वो मना कर दे कि हम ये नहीं करेंगे, राइट, तो फिर द राइट थिंग टू डू इज टू गो टू अदर इन्वेस्टर्स, दूसरे इन्वेस्टर्स के पास जाके रेस करो वापस। बट इसमें और एक तकलीफ है, तकलीफ ये है कि देन आपका जो रिलेशनशिप एग्जिस्टिंग इन्वेस्टर्स के साथ जो है वो सावर हो जाता है।
तो अब ये मुझे एक
सो ये एक फाइन बैलेंस है, ये एक फाइन बैलेंस है। सो आई एम जस्ट स्टेटिंग द फैक्ट्स दैट यस, कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस वाइज इट्स अ कंसर्न, बट इट्स अ फाइन बैलेंस, क्योंकि आपको एग्जिस्टिंग इन्वेस्टर्स के साथ बने रहना है, उनको भी अच्छी तरीके से खुश करना है, उनका भी बैकिंग, उनका भी साथ लेके आगे बढ़ना है। तो ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है।
फीचर्स ऑफ अ कंपनी इज टू डाइवर्सिफाई शेयर होल्डिंग एंड नॉट बी held ransom by a select set of investors.
100% agreed. Now the question is whether they have been held ransom or not. Now that is difficult to determine according to me at this point.
It's possible that the management would have gone to other investors in the market, and see, this company is what, 1500 crores in market cap,
2000 crore in
2000
market
crore in market cap, right? And the investors would have said कि नहीं, मुझे तो इससे नीचे वाले प्राइस में चाहिए। Simple as that, right? They would have could have said, and the company may not be willing to go down below a certain price, which is there. It's a fair thing to do. Ki acha, so let me go back to the existing, but they are not the existing investor, na. They are not the existing shareholder. You need to be a shareholder to go back to shareholder and then negotiate. Ki I want, okay, I will give you thing. You can easily say tomorrow and say, okay, I'm going to come out with a rights issue where I'm going to price the share at 130 rupees per share for the retail shareholder. That's a rights issue to the existing shareholder, and everyone will be lapping.
Ideally, it ought to have happened like that. I agree with you, sir. But at the same time, it's a fine balance, यार। तुमको प्राइस भी बैलेंस करना है, तुमको स्टॉक के प्राइस को तोड़ना भी नहीं है, तुमको प्राइस टू बुक एडजस्ट करके तुमको करेक्ट प्राइसिंग पे करना है। सो देयर आर दीज सेवरल एडजस्टमेंट्स व्हिच हैपन, बट एट द सेम टाइम यस, इफ आई वर अ शेयर होल्डर एट 190 in Ugro, I would not be happy, let me put it that way, that I have to do a rights issue and I have to put in more money into a company just because of the 12.5 rupee adjustment which you are giving to your CCD holders or your warrant holders, because of which I have to subscribe to a rights. That rationale I'm not fully convinced about.
Not only that, tomorrow if the market cycle is muted and consolidated and the stock goes below that price, आप फिर से CCD करोगे जिसमें फिर से आप कूपन दोगे.
Yes.
It's a down cycle. Where will you end? Simple
Yes,
as that.
that's a concern. It's a concern.
So we leave it at that. It's
But one more thing. He spoke about how because of this merger, the ROA, if this merger were to go through, the ROA will touch 3%. He said that.
He said 0.7% increase.
Increase from the 2.4% number, 0.7% increase. And I pointedly asked him that question, will it be 3%? He said if RBI approval comes through, if all goes well, if the merger goes through properly, then yes, it will be 3%. 26 mein hoga. FY 26 itself mein hoga, because merger is effective 1st April 2025. So if the RBI approval comes in the next 3 months,
then the merger will take 9 months, na? NCLT process ke through.
So if that happens, then it's an FY27 issue. But otherwise, if everything goes smoothly and the merger comes through, then and the acquisition also comes through, yet the console ROA will still be 3% plus. So that's something.
We have I think time for one more question. Know your markets more, sir. IT shares में पैसा डालना चाहिए अभी. Well, IT shares have gone up in the last 10 days. I think IT index is the only index which has outperformed all other index. I think defense को छोड़ के, defense index को छोड़ के, IT is the only one. And I think the street is penciling in some bit of recovery which is happening in the second half of the year. There are order flows which are coming in. Those are not big orders which are there in that sense, but it basically gives you an idea that okay, people have started giving you small orders, and there is a flow which is coming. At least companies are announcing now small orders. Earlier companies to announce mega orders. Now छोटे भी करने लगे कि बताने लगे कि भाई सब कुछ normal है कि at least keep the tap open कि आ रहे that kind of thing. So yeah, FY26 is going to be a muted year. It's not, the outlook is not going to change, but FY27 is promising, and we have a July deadline of tariff which is coming in July 9th, and uske baad we'll have a much better clarity on what's going to happen with respect to many of the companies and the order flows. So I think Q2 numbers are going to be some bit of Q1 numbers are going to be a little bit tricky in terms of growth, and the commentary which we'll get in July is something which will give us much better understanding of how the IT sector is going to pan out for FY26 and 27.
That's on IT. Now I'll quickly take up some comments which have come through. In the meantime, one we have Himalaya Sharma. Once again, amazing stuff. Thank you, Himalaya. Y'all, frankly, it's you guys who kind of motivate us to do this. You have Ajay Kapoor as well. Great analysis and combination from all three. Thank you so much, Ajay. Also, there are a couple of comments on KYC, I'm told.
Yes.
Zydus Wellness today, good KYC. Okay, thank you so much, Naman, for that comment. You're invested for 3 months. Good stuff. You identified it even before Parag Parikh did, so that's positive. Kalyan, Hersh, if you start KYC for sub 600 crore, will consider Prevest Dent Pro for sure.
Yes.
I will. Thank you so much, Kalyan, for tuning in. Why not look at it positively, Kalyan? If Prevest doubles from here and becomes 1,000 crore plus, then it might well slot for a KYC as well. So yeah.
But Prevest has a competition in the Indian market. There's already a listed company which is there. So
yes. But guys, sorry, we'll have to cut the show short today because just no time. Both of us have to rush, and we'll see you on NDTV Profit. So.